Put your cap on. Okay, if you need some help, ask your teacher. But you gotta get it on. All right, turn around, let's get your feet on the floor. Because this year's graduation is gonna be a little bit longer than normal. Your teachers have some extra awards. Alright, boys and girls, welcome to the 5th grade graduation. Alright, here we go. So boys and girls, we're going to get started here in a short second. So what's going to happen is, it is live streamed. A lot of your parents have linked in, click the link, and they're going to be able to watch you receive your awards and all that good stuff today, so please make sure you're on your best behavior. Also, boys and girls, your teachers are going to come up. Each set of teachers is going to come up and present some different awards today. So, if I can just prep you ahead of time, we really do appreciate it when everyone is quiet and respectful, because again, families are at home. And just like your family may be at home, everybody wants to be able to hear their son or daughter's name, okay? So let's make sure we do that. Also, boys and girls, you have finally made it. You have about six and a half days left until you leave the building and embark on the middle school. And hopefully, as you look around to some of your teachers, and even those teachers that were in the 4th and 3rd grade hallway, you can kind of quickly remember, especially with the slideshow that they're going to show you, all the different memories that you've had in the building. I don't know how many of you remember, but does anyone remember walking over from 2nd grade and you guys did a tour of the building and all that stuff? I told the other class that graduated Tuesday, there are some of you, for various reasons, that I remember on that day. So it's been a long 3 years, but we're super proud of you. And I know for me, you guys have been, especially at lunch, one of the best groups. You guys always do a good job. You always listen. And it's been a pleasure to be with you guys every day. So before you leave, I do want you to think about just a few things that are important as you go up to that middle school. For 3 years here, boys and girls, your teachers have talked to you about some of those habits. They've talked to you about being proactive, trying to think of a win-win, beginning with the end in mind. And after like 3 years, you start to think to yourself, this sounds like a little elementary, right? And some of you might get tired of it. Next year, from day 1, it really will be a chance for you to apply some of those skills, some of those lessons, because they will help you up there. You are transitioning from being down here, being walk to lunch, walk to class, and being with your teachers, to having a full schedule of 7 or 8 classes with a locker and a lot of responsibility. So I know that these people who surround you here today have done nothing but prepare you and care for you to get you in the best possible spot to be able to do well up there. If there is one thing that I can tell you, when you go up to the middle school, you're going to be all the way with kids who are in 8th grade. You're going to be with a lot of different older kids. You're going to meet a lot of new people you haven't seen in a long time. It's going to be very different. There's going to be a lot for you to navigate. If there's one thing I try to tell the kids when you go up there, and I just feel like this advice really never fails, is that it's never difficult to be nice. Because again, you're gonna run into a lot of different kids and a lot of different people. And sometimes you never know who needs that, including you. But I really strongly urge you guys in all of those moments to be nice. It matters, it helps, and it really means something. So it's never hard to be nice. I really hope that you could do that as you represent the building and all of your teachers up there in 6th grade. So before we move on and start, boys and girls, I do want to give you an opportunity to thank your teachers and give them a round of applause for all that they've done. Because especially for those of you who went to Camp Fitch, those are the people who make it happen for you. Those are the people who believe in that trip and make sure that you can get there one way or the other. So I hope you had a great time up there, but I also hope that as you take those memories of camp, you also remember that a lot of people did a lot of work to get you there because they care about you, and those are your teachers, okay? Why don't you give them one more round of applause. Okay, so as we call up our first group, I do want you guys to make sure that you're quiet and respectful so that everyone really gets their time and attention when they receive their diplomas and all that good stuff. So without further ado, we're going to start with Mrs. Wolfgang, Mrs. Geiser, Miss Spencer, and Mrs. Emery. Give them a round of applause as they come on up to the stage, boys and girls. I think you were voluntold to go first. Here you go, Mrs. Wolfgang.
Join me. So the group that we have had this year, both bipods, they have great personality. They are sometimes too over the top, but sometimes that's what we need when we need a laugh. My homeroom specifically, they have grown so much this year, both academically, socially, and they just are really great kids to work with. We have been very blessed with my homeroom being as awesome as they are. So let me introduce you to my homeroom. We have Michael Barnett, Joey Brooks, James Button, Jack Emmerich, Joe Luttrell, Janiyah Mahone-Winfrey, Angel Nuzzo, Layston Stoner, Cameron Strahan, Abby Tofton, Jaden Wall, and Alexis Williams.
And now for my homeroom. My homeroom has also made a ton of growth. I obviously focus a lot on reading, and I've been so impressed with the reading growth that my homeroom has made, along with Mrs. Wolfgang's homeroom. And I've really enjoyed all the different personalities we've had all year, so I'm going to miss you guys a lot. All right, my homeroom, Devin Butis. Olivia Cabuno. Jamie Charlton, Keyshawn Cook, David DeCiccio, Christian Fisher, Raven Fletcher, Tegan Gold, Aiden Howard, Evan Jenkins, Marcus Kist, Emily Kalenich, Alina Learn, Jaden Matheny, Harper McLaughlin, Liam Myers, Aiden Sable, Ruger Satterweight, Kamani Snow, Christina Wiggins, and Quinn Williams. We do have a couple special certificates to give out this year as well. I have 2 reading certificates to give, one each to each homeroom. And for this, we were looking at the amount of steps our students read this year. So the person who grew the most on the steps is who's receiving these certificates. For my homeroom, it's Devin Butis. And for Mrs. Wolfgang's homeroom, it is Jaden Wall.
For my awards, I have a science award and a math award. For my homeroom, this is a student that is constantly asking questions and really enjoys science. And he's always into it, and it's really fun to watch him learn and ask questions. So for my homeroom, Joey Brooks. Very similar for Mrs. Emery's homeroom. She is constantly asking questions, sometimes too many questions, but I love it anyways. Emily! For my math awards, these are the 2 students that grew the most on iReady, but also throughout the year. iReady showed the same amount of growth that I see in the classroom every single day. From my homeroom, this student came in with very little confidence, really wasn't all about math and science, and just blew us away. So, Mr. Joe Luttrell. Get on up here. And from Mrs. Emery's homeroom, that is Liam Myers. The last thing we have to give out are our 4 leaders. So we have 2 from each homeroom. When we were looking at these leaders, we were looking at who really is doing what they need to be doing most of the time, who is looking at the greater good, and we really think that they will be a leader as they continue through life. So from my homeroom, that is Abby Tofton and Michael Barnett. From Mrs. Emery's homeroom, that is Ruger Satterthwaite. And Alina Learn. One more round of applause for our group, please. Mrs. Arlenga, Mrs. Bobovnik, Mr. Sumner. Mr. Sumner and I would like to recognize and congratulate all of our students for completing their 5th grade year at AIS. These students have worked hard to be leaders, were proactive in their learning, and should be proud of all of their success. We hope you continue to push yourselves and keep our 5 expectations in mind as you move on to the middle school this fall. So our first certificate will go to Manuel Barnett. Preston Bliss. Malia Horns. Ileana Bowers. Gabriella Campbell. Joseph de Oliveira. Rylan Dominic. Zoe Freeman. Derek Greathouse. Annabelle Lester. Cole Matula. Lydia Morton. Patricia Ophalia. Ava Panamarzik. Reagan Redfern. Violet Reynolds. DJ Rogers. Tessa Roth. Taryn Wigfall. Jordan Wolf. And Isabella Wiley.
Okay, now for my homeroom. Deasia Carter. Michael Cece. Joshua C. Jarrett Cheshire. Angela Cioli. Lucas Gibson. Kiera Good Holding. Cameron Grace. Braylon Cagley. Alexia Crofta. Sydney Kronicki. Cameron Mallory. Chloe Mayfield. Serena Perez. Casey Ratliff. Weston Rhodes. Luis Ruiz Rubert. Alea Sellers. Caleb Spear. Joseph Underwood. Aubriana Weibert. And Nyla Wright.
Alright, so in addition to the graduation awards, we also have some special certificates, 2 in language arts. The first one we have Kiera Goodhody. Also, the reading certificate goes to Lydia Morgan. Now for the math award, we have Joseph De Oliveira. Also, the math certificate goes to Nyla Wright. And for the science awards, first one goes to Cole Matula. And another science award goes to Adriana Weibert.
Okay, the last awards are for the leadership awards. So what are the qualities that make a good leader? A good leader is someone who sets goals, is willing to help others, is hardworking, makes good choices, is positive and encouraging, and is honest and trustworthy. Although this was a very difficult decision, we feel that these students have definitely earned this. So the students we've selected from my homeroom, C33 is Joshua Steen and Casey Ratliff. And for Mrs. Arlanga's room, C328, the students are Derek Greathouse and Annabelle Lester. Congratulations, and if we could get one more round of applause for our students, please.
Mr. Ritter and I would like to congratulate his homeroom and my homeroom. We are very proud of their accomplishments that they've done this year and are confident that they're ready for 6th grade. We will miss them. We're going to start with giving certificates to my homeroom. So, Audrey Arnett. Jake Berna. Daniel Byer. Mia Corelli. Amy Flanagan. Adara Gerlach. Alyssa Jackson. Hannah Kant. Alan Kephart. Brittany Liberto. Ryan McCutcheon. Raymond Moynihan. Eli Lipinski. Jeffrey Newton. Chloe Paftel. Levi Prosey. David Green. Nolan Sully. Spencer Santaniano. Alex Struna. Riley Zusla. Now for Mr. Ritter's homeroom, Nicholas Altier. Krista Baston. Eliana Boggs. Lee Finley. Camden Host. Ariane James. Carson Joe. Cole Kephart. Kenneth Covey. Jackson Lee. Matthew Martin. answer. Chase Raymond. Gabby Rivera. Cameron Sully. Alexandria Shepard. Hunter Scott. Addison Weidenfeld. Jackson Zuslam. Okay, so for our final awards, like many of the other teachers have said, it was difficult for us to choose because all of the students have grown. All of them have worked hard, so we don't want to slight anyone. We'll start with my reading awards with steps. I'm sure the kids already know. From my homeroom, Adara Gerlach. And Eli Lipinski. And Ariane James.
Zara, I got yours.
Okay, for my math awards, I based it on the final iReady score. Probably the most kids tested out I've ever had in the 6th grade level, so this was pretty close. But in my homeroom, Kenneth Kobe. And in Mrs. Culp's homeroom, it was Adara Gerlach. She received her award already. Sorry, Adara. And then for our science awards, we have Daniel Byard. And again, we went with Kenneth Kobe.
Okay, for the leadership awards, we looked for consistency in character. So we know when you have strong character, you do the right thing even when no one's looking. And we also were looking at how these students treated all of the other students, no matter if they were their best buddy or someone that they wouldn't choose to be paired with. But these students chose to work with all the other students equally and were kind to all of them. So we hope that all of you do that in your life. From my homeroom, we had Eli Lipinski. And Kelsey Vinarski. From Mr. Ritter's homeroom, we had Ariane James. And Addison Weidenthal. I think Mrs. Inglis? Mrs. Olin. Okay, she's coming up.
Good afternoon. I only have 3 5th graders graduating from my class this year. This is a special group because I've had the opportunity to have some of them for all 3 grade levels, so I've really bonded and been able to make a connection with a lot of them. And it is bittersweet and kind of sad to see them go, but they've all made really good progress and I'm extremely proud of all 3 of my students. So my first student is Brayden Bass. My My second student is Jackson Sawhill. My last student, before I announce his name, he's also going to get a leadership award. This student is near and dear to my heart. He has made some of the most incredible progress I have ever seen since I've been teaching. I'm not going to cry about this one, but I am going to miss him a whole lot, and that is Jackson Fields. Thank you, Mrs. Inglis. You're all up.
Hi guys, just like Miss Olin, I have a class where I'm very lucky. I get to keep my kids from 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So 3 out of 4 of the kids that are coming up today, I've had for 3 years. So I saw them when they were real little, and now they're big middle schoolers. So they've made fantastic progress, and I'm gonna miss them for sure. Our first 5th grader will be Malia Smith. Janderson Ortega Morris. Cadence Hudson. And last but definitely not least, Nevaeh Burnett. We have 2 Falcon Leadership Award winners, and we have 1 girl, 1 boy this year that have worked hard for all 3 years, have helped the younger kids, have been classroom, just perfect examples of what kids should be when they're at school, and I know they're going to have a great future. Our first one is Janderson Ortega Morris. And Malia Smith. And that's it.
All right, we are almost done, and I am very impressed with how well and respectful you all are being by listening and clapping for your classmates. That's really awesome. But I am going to piggyback off of what Miss Owen said. When you guys came in here in 2nd grade, she remembers you guys walking through it, and I do too. And one of my favorite things as being a principal here is watching you grow from 3rd graders to the young adults that you are now. It's incredible because you guys are this tall walking in the door, and then when you walk out the door, you're taller than me. And it's awesome and how well you've grown and how many good choices you made. And I just want to let you know, I am extremely, extremely proud of each and every one of you. And when you leave to go to the middle school, don't forget about us. Don't forget about all the fun things we've done in this building. And if you have the opportunity to stop by, stop and say hello, because we are going to miss you dearly. Okay, so at this time, there are going to be some refreshments passed out, some cookies. We're going to do a slideshow, and we will be dismissed here in a little bit, but I just want to give you guys a friendly reminder. I'll wait. On Tuesday, there were a lot of hats left over, a lot of certificates left over, some trash left out on the table. Let's try to be better than that today, okay? And make sure we clean up after ourselves and remember our things, okay? All right, Miss Taylor, you ready to sink on? Is it sunk?